My boyfriend got a huge tattoo of his dead 6-year-old brother on his chest, and now getting intimate with him makes me feel like I'm doing something that could land me in jail. I'm a 22-year-old woman, and I'm not really sure how to start this, so I'll just jump right into it. We've been dating for 4 years, moved in together 2 years ago, and everything about our relationship is basically perfect. I have a feeling he's going to ask me to marry him soon. But last year, his little brother, who was just 6 years old, died. This took a major toll on my boyfriend, obviously, but especially because he was extremely close with his little brother. His parents are major screw-ups, to put it bluntly, and as a result, his little brother spent a lot of time living with us, to the point where we practically became like a mom and dad to him, and even discussed filing for custody. The problem arises when a few months ago, my boyfriend mentioned he wanted to get a tattoo to commemorate his little brother, and asked what my thoughts were on this idea. He has no other tattoos and never expressed wanting one before, so I was a little surprised, but completely supportive. He'd always been cautious about permanent decisions, so this sudden interest caught me off guard. When we sat down to talk about it, I could tell he'd given this serious thought. Weeks passed before he scheduled an appointment, choosing a day when I'd be at work. When I inquired about his design choice, he wanted to keep it secret, which intrigued me. I anticipated something modest and touching, perhaps a small memorial piece. Instead, he returned with an enormous portrait covering most of his chest, a photorealistic rendering of his brother's face. Though stunned by its size and placement, I complimented the artistry. Multiple sessions followed, adding colors and shading until the portrait achieved an uncanny lifelike quality. The technical skill was undeniable, and his pride in it was evident. However, an unexpected problem emerged during intimate moments. The portrait dominated his chest, impossible to ignore against his pale skin. No matter our position, those young eyes seemed to follow me, creating a deeply uncomfortable dynamic that destroyed any romantic atmosphere. This child had been like family to us, making the situation even more distressing. I found myself avoiding positions where I'd face him, preferring darkness or keeping clothes on. He noticed these changes and worried I'd lost attraction to him, though the truth was far more complicated. Discussing this felt impossible. Criticizing something so meaningful seemed cruel, yet the situation was destroying our intimacy. After posting online for advice, I received helpful suggestions about communication strategies. When he initiated intimacy one evening, I carefully explained my discomfort, emphasizing my support for the memorial while acknowledging its impact on our physical relationship. His reaction was explosive. He accused me of wanting him to remove it, despite my explicit denial. When I suggested temporary solutions like keeping shirts on, he erupted, calling me sick and selfish, claiming I never cared about his brother and was glad he was gone. That accusation cut deeper than anything he'd ever said. He threatened to laser it off, saying I was culling his brother again, then stormed out. His sister called the next morning, screaming that I demanded he remove the tattoo, a complete fabrication he'd apparently spread. She wished death on my siblings before hanging up. Confused and hurt by his lies and cruelty, I sent him links to my online posts instead of attempting another conversation. This sparked an argument between siblings that revealed shocking truths. He returned home broken, admitting to substance abuse and heavy drinking to cope with guilt. He blamed himself for not pursuing custody when I'd suggested it, believing his hesitation contributed to his brother's death. These feelings had twisted into irrational resentment toward me. The tattoo itself had become a source of regret he couldn't acknowledge, making my concerns trigger a complete breakdown. He confessed to hating it, avoiding looking at it himself. His sister had accompanied him to the appointment and pushed for the dramatic design, hoping it would damage our relationship. She blamed me for the custody situation and wanted us separated. Mental health issues, including bipolar disorder, run in their family, and she likely suffers from untreated conditions. Despite these challenges, he decided to confide in her about the family's mental health history. We both apologized for what we said, and we're going to stay together and work through things together. In the short term, we're going to be getting in contact with a grief counselor and try out some of the suggestions for how to make things less awkward in the bedroom. In the long term, we're going to consult the tattoo artist to see what can be done in terms of lasering it off or turning it into something else. My boyfriend doesn't feel comfortable lasering it off, and currently his favorite idea is to get a heap more tattoos to try and make it less noticeable. I'm a fan of this idea as well. As for his sister, my boyfriend is currently debating whether to cut her out of his life or not. I don't think he should. I feel like he's lost enough family, but I'll respect whatever decision he comes to. I think that just about wraps everything up.